a junior from San Antonio, Texas. The right guard, Steve Peebles, the leader on that offensive front line, 6'1", 235, a senior. An honorable mention, all KCAC pick last year, Vic Walker, a freshman center, 6'4", 230 pounds, from Winfield, Kansas, and will be a good one by the time he leaves the Southwestern Mound Builders. At flanker this afternoon will be Edmund Hall and Donald Stroy running in plays. Edmund Hall, 6', 175, a sophomore from China, Texas. Donald Stroy, the other flanker, kind of the part-time starter, 6'2", 180 pounds, a junior from Columbus, Georgia. Of course, the quarterback for the Mound Builders, Brian Shaw, twice KCAC Player of the Week this year, 6'2", 190, a junior. He hails from Arkansas City, Kansas. J.T. Thompson is getting the start at fullback, 6'2", 210 pounds, a sophomore from Sedgwick, Kansas. The tailback this afternoon, Freddie Green, 5'9", 200 pounds, a freshman from Tyler, Texas. And all the Builders start 2 seniors, 2 juniors, 4 sophomores, and 3 freshmen on that offensive unit. Checking the defense for the Ottawa Braves, Kelvin Hicks, a first-team all-conference performer last year as a junior, 6 feet, 210 pounds, from Detroit, Michigan. He's a defensive end, and he's a senior. George Christensen from Hecker, Illinois, 1 tackle, 6'2", 280 pounds, and just a junior. Richard Estes, the nose guard from Belle Plaine, 5'11", 220, a senior. Robert Matherly, second-team all-conference right tackle, 5'11", 245, a sophomore from Crossville, Tennessee. And Dave Meyer, the right end, honorable mention all KCAC a year ago from Golden, Colorado, 6'2", 232, a senior. The linebackers, Chuck Knapp and Rigo Cantu, 214 pounds and 186 pounds. One senior is Knapp. Rigo Cantu, just a sophomore. Cliff Boatwright from Frostproof, Florida, 183 pounds. A junior is one quarterback. The other cornerback for the Braves, Harold Milton from Atlanta, Georgia, 166 pounds, just a sophomore. Chris McClure, the strong safety, 205 pounds, a sophomore from Lyons, Kansas. And Kurt Barber from Paola, Kansas, 190 pounds. He is a senior. It'll be the Mound Builders kicking off, so they evidently won the coin toss before the game, deferred it, which means they'll take the wind. In the first quarter, Ottawa will be going from our north to south on offense to start things off. Setting the defense for the Mound Builders, Anthony Salas, Billy Beard, Gene Phillipson, and we're thinking Demetrius Harrell along that front line. Gerald Peters last week out with an injury, and we had no word on his status before game time. He was kind of a day-to-day injury, so we'll wait and see. Anthony Salas, 260 pounds. Demetrius Harrell, 215, a freshman. Salas is a junior. Billy Beard, the senior, 6'1", 250. Gene Phillipson, also a senior, 245 pounds. We'll set the rest of the defensive unit for the Mound Builders. We're just about set to get underway here. From Stauner Stadium, Victor Ureta set to kick things off with the wind, so we expect a pretty good kick from Victor. With looks like what might be about a 20-25 mile-an-hour wind and gusting more than that at times. The Ottawa kick returner standing all the way at the goal line. It's Rusty Rowden, a sophomore, 155 pounds. So it might be safe to say a speedster back there at the goal line. Back there with him, Matt Wendell, a running back. And here's the kickoff by Ureta, kind of a little squibber, and it's tipped at the 10-yard line, and he goes out of bounds at the 9. So a strange play that time as Aaron Brandfoot, the starting fullback, picked it up at the 10-yard line, kind of looked upfield and saw the Mound Builders coming for the cover and just tucked it out of bounds at the 9-yard line. So strange play to start things off. Coach Cowdery, no argument from him, I'm sure. It'll be 1st and 10 Ottawa from their own 9-yard line. The Mound Builders starting out in that 4-3-4 defense. Looks like Gene Phillipson and Gerald Peters is getting the start. The Builders right away put 8 men on the line. And they have a running play up the middle is just completely squashed right there by that entire interior line, Billy Beard and Gene Phillipson. The first players there, also Gerald Peters getting off the pile. Terry Stevens as well, setting the linebackers for the Mound Builders this afternoon. It looks like getting the start at middle linebacker this week, Ivory Wilson, a freshman, 6'1" wide end. You say, well, where's Rodney Miller? Well, Rodney's playing the outside linebacker spot. Bobby Uratia relegated to the bench to start things off today. Doug Myers, the other outside linebacker, will set the D-backs in a moment. Ottawa, 2nd down 10. In the eye, back to pass. There's Ottawa's quarterback, and he is just buried at the 1-yard line. Ivory Wilson untouched as he goes through for the sack. all the way back where they're going to spot the ball at the 2-yard line. 14-10 to play here in the first quarter, and the Southwestern Mound Builder defense is fired up.
That's what I was getting ready to say, Mike. I tell you, Southwestern's football team really looks sky high this afternoon, and they're playing the run, which I was looking here, and Ottawa's rushing was 189 and passing was 145.
Here's a pitch into the end zone to Jimmy Lee Smith, their tailback, just avoids the safety. Then he's dropped for another loss back to the 1-yard line. Coming up from his free safety spot was Barry Williams. So 3 plays, negative yardage, and Ottawa's going to punt from the back of their end zone. Well, I'll tell you what, if you need a little bit of a momentum change for the way the last 2 weeks have gone, or if you want to know how these young players are going to respond to 2 consecutive KCAC losses, well, forget it. They're ready to play. Back to receive the punt from Randy Breckeisen is Terry Stevens at the Ottawa 35-yard line. Pretty good punt against the wind. Stevens fields at the 31. He's got a wedge along the left side, cuts it up the middle, inside the 30, inside the 20, 15, inside the 10, cuts it back inside the 5, and tackled at about the 1-yard line. And we've got a flag on the play, but I think it's going to be a face mask. So forget about it. The Mound Builders are here to play this afternoon. I don't think Coach Cowdery and his troops like 3rd place in the conference. Boy, what a way to start things off. 12:55 to play. We're just underway. If you've just tuned in, the Mound Builders kicked off. Ottawa started possession at their own 9-yard line and proceeded to go backward to the 1-yard line. Now Terry Stevens, a good run back to the 1-yard line, but there's a penalty. It's going to be on Southwestern. It's a clip, so a personal foul on the Mound Builders takes it back to the 23-yard line, but
that wall set up for Terry Stevens on that return. And, you know, sometimes when you get it that big of a run back, you usually see a flag.
1st and 10 Mound Builders. Here's the pitch to Gerald Thomas. Tries to cut it back inside to the pack, the middle of the pack, and no yardage there. As he might have picked up a yard, Gerald Thomas, it was kind of that student body right that time as everyone pulled out to that wrong side of the field. Gerald Thomas, we'll give him 1 yard. It'll be 2nd down, 9. And Shaw, the quarterback, the running backs tonight, starting things out. Lance Davis is at fullback. And Jonathan Thompson is at the flanker. And here's Lance trying to get some yards over the middle. He's stacked up, spins off one tackler, but nothing doing on the tackle. Robert Matherly. And Matherly, from a defensive tackle spot, 5'11", 245, a second-team all-conference player last year from Crossville, Tennessee, leads the Ottawa Braves in tackles. Lance Davis got back to the line of scrimmage. It brings up 3rd down and 9. Builders going south to north. 11:42 to play first quarter. No score. Donald Stroy in motion. Back split behind Shaw. He wants to throw. He's going for the end zone. Greg Peoples on the pass route. He's bumped in the end zone, but no flag. So good defense that time by the left cornerback, Cliff Boatwright. It'll bring up 3rd down for the Mound Builders. So what looked to be a 1st and goal after a good run back by Terry Stevens. Well, the clip has cost them yardage, and Ottawa is up to the task. They shut down the Mound Builders. Victor Ureta now is teeing it up at the 30-yard line. Ureta 2 of 5 field goals this year. A 40-yard field goal attempt with a pretty strong wind at his back. The kick is up, and it's long enough, but it's wide left. So that time Ureta had more than enough distance, but wide left in the KCAC. Gives up 307 yards a game. That's 6th in the conference, somewhere that Mound Builders aren't used to being. Brad Basil, the quarterback for Ottawa. A little play-action pitch over the left side. He gets it somehow to Jimmy Lee Smith, the tailback. And Smith's going to get pretty good yardage out to the 28-yard line. It'll be a gain of 90-pounder, a sophomore from Clyde, Kansas. Picks up the 1st down all the way out to the 36-yard line. So the Ottawa Braves coming out very stale, but now a couple of rushes and a 1st down. That Ottawa offense on the season hasn't been that potent. And in fact, total offense, Ottawa 255 yards a game. That's 8th in the conference. On 1st down, the give to the tailback, Jimmy Lee Smith. Then free safety, Barry Williams. the second leading tackler for the Mound Builders, along with Terry Stevens at strong safety. 2nd and 9 for the Ottawa Braves. Jimmy Lee Smith cuts it outside, eludes Gene Phillips, and he's got some speed as he breaks it up near midfield out to about the 47-yard line, very near a first down.
It comes one way, and he cuts back across the green to go the other way.
Doesn't have the great moves, it's just the sheer speed. It was a first down. Here's Smith on 1st and 10 again. He's into Builder territory, down near the 45. I think it's going to be marked at about the 46-yard line, so another big pickup. 6 yards for Smith, and the Ottawa Braves are on the move. 2nd and 4 for Ottawa, going across that front line for the Braves. There's the right guard, 254. Mike Brown is the center. He's 227 pounds. We'll tell you the rest in a minute. 2nd and 4 at the Builder 46. The Braves on the move, and here's the first pass of the game. It's picked off by Rodney Miller. Picked off by Rodney Miller, his 3rd interception of the year. That time, quarterback Brad Basil just threw it right into Miller's hands. Rodney had just kind of dropped back a couple steps into a little zone defense, and really not much you could do but catch that ball.
Yeah, that time, you know, I was kind of surprised to see Ottawa.
Does lead the Builders. Lawrence Fields has 2. 1st and 10 Builders at the Ottawa 46. Donald Stroy in motion. Brian Shaw, the quarterback, single setback is Jonathan Thompson. He gets it. He's trying to get around the corner, and he's going to be wrestled down. After picking up about a yard, we've got flags on the play. It's in the area of the tackle, so we'll wait and see what the call is. Well, that time, good pursuit that time from his defensive end spot, Dave Meyer. Honorable mention, KC, 33-yard line.
On that penalty call, I don't know if it really was an intentional face mask, but what we've seen was an Ottawa defender have Jonathan Thompson in his grasp, and another player run up in front of him and grab the face mask.
So 9:22 to play, 1st and 10 Builders here in the first quarter. No score from Saunders Stadium. Shaw, the quarterback, back to pass. On 1st down, he hits Peoples, but Peoples can't. Is Greg Peoples. 2nd and 10. Mound Builders with good field position for the 2nd time this afternoon. Back split behind Shaw, Lance Davis, and Freddie Green back there. Jonathan Thompson goes in motion. Here's the give to Green. Big hole over the left side. Cuts it inside the 30, down near the 25. He's short of the first down as Freddie Green picks up about 8 yards. Freddie Green, another one of those running backs that Coach Dino Hall and maybe a whole host of others. You never know. Give Freddie 9 yards. 3rd down 9 as we have a little mix-up in the backfield, but the Builders take care of that. James Bowen lining up in the backfield now, and Freddie's going to run right behind him and pick up the first down to the 21-yard line. So 1st and 10 Mound Builders, and Rusty, right away we're seeing the Mound Builders coming out trying to run the football, and we talked about in the
yardage going straight ahead than when he bounced out.
Backs in the eye again for the Builders. Here's the give to the tailback, Lance Davis over the middle. So Lance seeing some action at tailback. Follows his blocker, Jonathan Thompson, right over the middle as he dove right over the center as well. And picks up down to the Ottawa 16.5. Most of the first half of the first quarter. Pretty good drive by the Builders now. And now the officials blow the clock dead, and the Mound Builders are calling timeout. Lance Davis is the tailback. And here's kind of a flanker reverse to Edmund Hall. Gets maybe inside the 15. Then he's really racked up there by the linebacker Chuck Knapp. Also getting up off the bottom of the pile, Richard Estes, the nose guard. Estes head all the way up to Kansas City and play for the Ottawa Braves, and the Mound Builders on the move. It's a pickup of about 1 yard, brings up 3rd and 4 at the 15-yard line. Thompson and Davis split behind Shaw. Donald Stroy wide right. Here's the give to Davis inside the 15, battling as he gets racked up at about the 11-yard anyway.
Mike, I believe what we're seeing Southwestern do here is exactly what we said, was establish a very simple, high percentage running. It's nothing, you know, out of the ordinary for Coach Cowdery. He's not running the reverse or the end around or something of this type of, you know, on this series, and just very simply trying to say, hey, we got to establish this running game. Next time, maybe. Thompson carried him for about 6 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 4 yards to go. The Builders 2nd and 4 at the 4. They can get another first down, but just by a hair. Now, this drive following a Rodney Miller interception.
that stopped a pretty good Ottawa drive. If you're wondering and thinking that the Mound Builders are really moving the ball on the ground fairly easy, well, here's why. The Ottawa Braves give up 189 yards a game on the ground. That's 8th in the conference. The Builders rush for just about 150. So that's why they're getting off big chunks of yardage to give to the tailback. Lance Davis just kind of crashes into the pile. He might have got a yard, but that's it. Now they move it. Give him a half yard. It's 3rd down and 3 from about the 3.5. Southwestern running in the power I formation. Double tights, and the reverse to Edmund Hall, and he's going to be dropped for a loss back to the 7-yard line. It's coming up to make the tackle from his cornerback spot was Harold Milton. That time, Edmund Hall, I'll tell you why he lost yardage, because Hall was finally stopped by someone his own size. Only about 170 pounds. That might be over-exaggerating a little bit. Harold Milton, just 166. Victor Ureta now on for the field goal. As the Builders were stopped. Pretty good defensive series that time by Ottawa. Ureta on for the field goal. Little chip shot. It's up, and it's no good. So Victor Ureta misses from 23 yards. And how do you? It was perfect. 6 of 6. Western single-season record. And this year really having his problems. 2 of 7. That time missing from 23 yards. So Ottawa again takes over at the 20-yard line. On 1st and 10, here's the pitch to Jimmy Lee Smith. Tries to cut back against the grain. Rodney Miller says, forget it. As he's going to drop him for a loss on freshman. Fields on the season in 6 games has 15 pass knockdowns. That by far leads the team. He also has a couple of INTs. So pretty good numbers. On 2nd down, here's the pitch to Jimmy Lee Smith. He fumbles it. Barry Williams taps it loose. The ball rolls back by the 5. Now Ottawa picks it up. Another near fumble and tackled at the 5-yard line by Barry Williams along with Gerald Peters was Kurt Snyder, a backup tailback. Kurt Snyder managed to pick that ball up, but I'm not so sure he's glad he did as he kind of hobbles off now. Barry Williams really putting a good stick on him. A couple of field goals. It's now 3rd down and about 22 yards. 3rd and 22. Brad Basil, the quarterback. I formation. Here's the give to Jimmy Lee Smith over the middle, and he is just stopped cold that time over the middle. Gerald Peters, along with Doug Myers on the tackle as well. 4th down. So the Mound Builders, another good series that time. Negative yardage. They really forced their hand that time. Ottawa really couldn't do anything. Brad Basil that time was the quarterback. It was really his fault on the pitch that time, as it was behind Jimmy Lee Smith, and we'll talk more about that later. Basil has had to come in the last 2 games after an injury to Coach Glenn Percy's first-string quarterback this year. Here's the kick by Ottawa. It's really a wobbly kick. Terry Stevens fields it at the 35 and then bobbles it and falls on it. So the Builders take over again to the Ottawa 1-yard line. It was called back on a clip line, so it could be 14-0. Ottawa fortunate to be deadlocked at 0. Shaw back to pass on 1st down, chased out of the pocket, rolling right, looking downfield, lofting over the middle. He hits Donald Stroy inside the 20, back to the 18 at the 1st down. That time Stroy coming back to give the speed that Shaw has seen the last couple of weeks, and especially last week with Bethany. Really looked like he could pretty much jog out of there and have a chance to get on 1st down. Chased out of the pocket. He's got a man behind him, dumps it off to Jonathan Thompson. It's complete inside the 15. So the safety valve, Thompson, picked up by...
I have to start doing more and more of that because of the way that Brian rolls out of the pocket.
That was Thompson's 7th reception on the season. It's good for 7 yards. 2nd and 3. As Thompson now goes in motion from his flanker spot. Gerald Thomas gets the carry. He's close to another 1st down inside the 10-yard line. So the Builders on the move again. 1:09 to play 1st quarter. No score as the Builders have twice been stopped. Ready to go up top. Shaw 15 touchdowns on the season. The Builders as a team have 16. Gerald Thomas has thrown a halfback pass for a touchdown. Big Greg Peoples goes in motion. Here's the give over the middle to Lance Davis, and he's wrapped up right when he gets to the line of scrimmage. Another timeout. WKS. I'm ahead.
Something we might mention about Ottawa's defense when they get down in the inside the 10-yard line, they bring out the extra lineman and get into a very stiff goal line defense.
That's what they're doing now. 2nd and goal from the 8-yard line. Single coverage right side on Peoples. Here's the halfback pass, the pitch to Gerald Thomas. They're trying to go back to Brian Shaw. It's incomplete, but boy, that time the Mound Builders didn't fool anybody. As Gerald Thomas got the pitch from Shaw, then Brian went out for the pass at about the 2-yard line. Kelvin Hicks, the defensive end, first team all-conference, was stride for stride with Shaw. We've got a penalty, but nonetheless a free play. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 18-yard now as the 10-yard penalty is stepped off. Again, going back to that play, really fooling nobody as Gerald Thomas got the pitch and dropped back, pulled up to pass, and tried to go back across the field. And that's another one of those passes that if it's picked off, Ottawa's got a touchdown. When you throw across the field, you have no one back as a defensive. Add to that for the possibility of getting Weldon Kennedy back next year while you bring back 19 starters. 2nd and goal from the 18-yard line. Donald Stroy in motion. Shaw back to pass. Lost it over the middle to Stroy. And it's a touchdown, Southwestern. Donald Stroy from Brian Shaw. And Stroy gives it in the end zone. 6-0 Southwestern with 21 seconds to play. Victor Ureta comes on to tack on the extra point and makes Victor, he's 23 of 23 on the season, but has had some problems kicking this afternoon.
Brian Shaw standing in the pocket as long as he could stand in there. As soon as he released it, he got hammered.
The extra point is up, and it's good by Ureta, and just about kicks it into the next county. Makes it 7-0 Mound Builders, 21.
Ralph Hanna, their life, health, home, and car insurance agent, and that has its advantages. When you have
play has gone on top of the Ottawa Braves, 7-0. It could be 21-0 as the Mound Builders have got deep inside Ottawa territory 2 other times in the first quarter, but only to see that drive shut down for the Mound Builders. Get on top first, and that's something that they haven't done the last 2 weeks. Of course, you remember 2 weeks ago in Bethel, the first 10 minutes of the game, it was 21-0 Threshers, and last week Bethany went out on top 14-0 in the first quarter. So the Builders not having to come back out of a hole this time. Victor Ureta now on the kickoff, and the ball blows off the tee. So there's kind of our testimony to how windy it is out there. The Mound Builders had great coverage last time on the opening kickoff of the game. Victor kind of a squib kick down to about the 10-yard line, and Ottawa just ran it out of bounds. Decided they didn't want any, I guess. Ureta on the kickoff. Same kind of kickoff, goes to the same man. He fields it this time at the 12, across the 20, cuts it back to the left side, and he's tripped up at about the 25. Tripped up at the 25 on the tackle for the Mound Builders that time. That's about 220 pounds on that frame. He's a freshman, another freshman backup defensive lineman, and he will have something to say about Southwestern football by the time he's done. 15 seconds to play in the first quarter. Builders lead at 7-0. Brad Basil, the quarterback, gives to Jimmy Lee Smith, cuts it outside, stacked up immediately by Doug Myers. Gene Phillipson also there, as is Gerald Peters. But Doug Myers, the first man there, as he just met Jimmy Lee, will have it 2nd and 9 at their own 26-yard line. We'll pause 6-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down 6 for the Braves. 3rd and 6 from their own 30-yard line. Mound Builders leading 7-0. We're just into the second quarter. Jimmy Lee Smith, pretty good numbers on the afternoon, averages 82.5 yards a game. That's 3rd in the KCAC. On 3rd down, they give to Smith again, and he is wrapped up by Rodney Miller. Rodney Miller right there to drop him for about a 4-yard loss. It'll bring up 4th down as Miller so familiarly waves to the audience and tries to get them fired up. 4th down and about 11 is that time for the Mound Builders as a sophomore. 6'1", 225 pounds. Back to punt Randy Breckheisen. He's the second leading punter in the KCAC. Gets away a booming kick. Drops Terry Stevens all the way back inside his own 20. Picks the ball up and is just hammered at the 25 by about 5 guys. And now we've got a personal foul. 40-yard line. 1st and 10 Mound Builders. They lead at 7-0. Checking some first quarter numbers. The Builders 12 carries, 30 yards. So pretty mediocre numbers on the ground. Shaw 3 of 6 for 43 yards and a touchdown. But very balanced numbers, and that's what you need. The Builders a little bit below their season average if you times that out by 4, but pretty good offense nonetheless. Lance Davis on first down over the middle. He fumbles it, and Ottawa has it at the 46-yard line. Ottawa trailing early is. Brad Basil, the quarterback, 5'11", 192 pounds. He's a senior from Williamsburg, Kansas. The give to Smith over the middle, breaks big yardage inside the 40, down near first down territory, down. Smith, if he gets a little hole, that's all he needs. He doesn't look like he's a fast runner. He's 200 pounds, and that might explain that because he's a pretty big tailback, but he gets away from some people, that's for sure. High formation by the Braves. Double wideouts right side. Basil, the quarterback, is going to pass it. He's got a man wide open at the 30-yard line inside the 25, down near the 20, and knocked out of bounds. About the Builder 20, so as we said, a good drive, and Ottawa's right back in this thing. On first down, it's Basil, the quarterback, going for good yardage as he ran somewhat of an option play to the right side. Got about 2-year starting quarterback went down with an injury. I guess it was really not a pleasant injury as he had a compound fracture in his hand, and he's out for the season. Brad Basil taking over. Here's the give to Smith over the middle, and he's going to be near another first down on the stop for the Mound Builders, right on the 10-yard line. Well, I don't have to be about an inch for the Ottawa Braves. I suspect we'll see quarterback Brad Basil sneaking it over the middle. 11:25 to play in the first half. Builders lead at 7-0, but Ottawa on the verge of scoring here. They give to Jimmy Lee Smith, and he is stopped. It's going to depend on his forward progress. He was hit right about the line of scrimmage and knocked back a couple yards. Barry Williams on the big stick, along with Doug Myers again. So Williams and Myers doing a good job. He's short of the... No second thoughts here. They're going for it. They trail at 7-0, 10:45 to play in the first half. The Builders have given up just 5 touchdowns rushing, and now Ottawa on fourth down gets it. Possession, and now Ottawa moving in again. So kind of an up-and-down day for the Builder defense, giving up 300 yards a game on the average. Here's the give to Jimmy Lee Smith, and Gerald Peters is going to drop him for about a 4-yard loss. And no surprise, good at getting in and getting the down and goal from the 12-yard line. Basil, the quarterback, has his back split behind him. Here's a little play-action pass to the tight end, and a touchdown Ottawa that time. The tight end, Jim Anderson, beating 185 pounds. Not a big tight end, even in KCAC standards. But last year, as a freshman, was honorable mention to all KCAC from Agenda, Kansas. Anderson, a good athlete, also is a high jumper, and last year won the KCAC with a leap of 6'8". Greg Chesser on to kick the extra point at Duff, and he too about kicks it into the next county. And 30, listening to Builder Football on 94 FM.
A challenge for the athletes.
Braves have just got their offense going and tied up the Southwestern Mound Builders at 7 with 9:46 to play. It was Brad Basil hitting tight end Jim Anderson from 11 yards out, as Anderson beat Lawrence Fields that time in the near corner. The Ottawa Braves have the wind at their back right now, going from south to north as a very stiff wind coming out of the south. The Mound Builders very up and down day defensively. 3 series have shut down Ottawa for negative yardage. The other 2 series, one resulted in a fumble, but they had been picking up good chunks of yards, and the next series ended up in a touchdown. That time through the air, Ottawa got the touchdown. That's the 10th touchdown that Southwestern has given up through the air. Chesser on the kickoff, and it bounces out of the end zone. So there's that wind factor.
Wind, we'll have to see a lot of...
9:46 to play in the first half. Shaw back to pass, is rushed out of the pocket, and he's going to be sacked. He fumbles it. The ball bounces around, and Ottawa picks it up at the 18-yard line, that time coming in untouched. For the quarterback getting blindsided. That's what happened to Shaw. And I'll tell you what, give credit to Hicks that time as he break, as they have it 1st and 10 after just scoring a touchdown about 30 seconds ago. 1st and 10 at the Builder 18-yard line. Basil, the quarterback, had just thrown that touchdown pass, and he's back to pass again, looking out over the middle, and it's nearly picked off, and it should have been by Darryl Zachary that time. Zachary on the coverage, very upset with himself. But 9:35 to play, and it's 7-all at Sonner Stadium. Benny and Smith Day, we'll tell you more about that. It is second down by the Ottawa Braves, and it's going to be Gene Phillipson and Anthony Salas on the sack, as that time Brad Basil dropped back to pass, and come a case where you give him half a sack. So Gene, Southwestern giving up a game 202 yards passing. Basil, though, very unproven at quarterback as he's just taken over for the second week in a row. Here's the give to the tailback over the middle on third down, Matt Wendell. Short of the first down, got back to about the line of scrimmage. Rodney Miller and Terry Stevens, along with Gerald Peters, all on the tackle for the Mound Builders. Brings up fourth down for Ottawa. Greg Chesser trots on. He's spotting the ball, looks like, at the 25-yard line. So it'll be a 35-yard kick. Barefoot kicker kicks with his right foot. The second leading scorer in the KCAC kick-wise behind Ureta. Ureta has already missed from 23 yards. This is from 35 for Chester. It's up, and it's perfect, as we can tell from up here. And Ottawa takes the lead, 10-7, 8:11 to play.
First National Bank of Winfield is a proud supporter of the...
Out of the end zone. Here's another good kick all the way out of the end zone again, as Gerald Thomas just lets that one, and in fact is taking the lead now. It'll be interesting to see how they come out this time. Greg Peoples, Donald Stroy, single wideouts both sides. Jonathan Thompson, the flanker. Stroy goes in motion, so you have three receivers on the right side, and the give is over the middle to the fullback. Oh, it was Brian Shaw just keeping it over the middle, picking up 30 pounds, just a freshman. 2nd and 7 at the Builder 23-yard line. Peoples and Stroy both split left. Shaw back to pass. Here's the pitch out to Gerald Thomas, and he's going to be just tackled for a big loss that time. Back to the 20-yard line is on the pursuit from his right tackle spot, Robert Matherly. Last year, second team all KCAC, had 6 tackles in the East. And the Builders have have won the last 7 to pull ahead. Here's the give on third down to Gerald Thomas over the middle. He gains about 4 yards out to the 23, but that's it. And he said Fields is a 1.5-step punter where Prost is a 3-step, and he thought Bethany be getting back there quickly. The Fields boots it away. It bounces at about the 48-yard line and takes an Ottawa bounce back to the Builder 45. So
game, or the biggest determination in this game, football game, will be the wind. You have to score with the wind because your punts and everything will not be as well against the wind.
1st and 10. Ottawa back to pass is Brad Basil. It's incomplete as he was trying to go to Wanarowski. That's just about 6 minutes to play in the first half. Double wideouts for the Braves. I formation, kind of a draw play to Jimmy Lee Smith, and he's going to be dropped for another loss. So I guess this is the set of down where he uses them that way. 3rd down 13 at the Builder 49-yard line. Jackson, Beard, Peters, and Phillipson along that front line. Single wideouts both sides, I formation. Basil back to pass. He's got a pretty good rush on. Now he's chased out of the pocket by Billy Beard, and that time Basil just trying to unload it, and Beard swats the ball down. We've got a flag down, but I think Basil that time, just out of sheer panic, was going to throw the ball when he looked up and saw Billy Beard coming. I think 44, Rodney Miller, Bobby Uritia, and Doug Myers now the regular linebackers in there. Odell Thomas, I guess, is in as well. And now the Builders showing blitz. The pitch is to Jimmy Lee Smith over the right side, cuts it back across the grain. He's nowhere near a first down as he picks up about 3 yards down to the 41. Gerald Peters from his defensive tackle spot on the stop for the Mound Builders. Now it's going to be 4th down as no flags on the field. 4th and about 5 at the 40-yard line, and the Ottawa Braves' Greg Chesser is spotting his tee at the 47-yard line. This is going to be a 57-yard field goal attempt, and why not? Because he's kicking the ball out of the end zone. He's got about a 25-mile-an-hour wind at his back. Terry Stevens back there just in case. Good snap. The kick is away. It's got plenty of distance, and it's good. Greg Chesser, a 57-yard field goal, and Ottawa takes a 13-7 lead with 4:37 to play first half. We'll pause 30 seconds. You're listening to Builder Football on
WKS. This broadcast made possible in part by PNS Well Service.
I think it's Bethel or Bethany. Not near the caliber of play. The Mound Builders just can't get anything going this afternoon. Southwestern just 38 yards rushing. Here's the kickoff by Chester. It's fielded by Shane Green across the 20, and that's it as he got out to maybe the 21. The Mound Builders, as the team both quarters going against the wind, has done absolutely nothing. The team with the win has been able to score. First and 10 Builders at the 21-yard line. The handoff is to the tailback over the middle.
You know, they shoot the linebackers and bring an extra lineman up on the line, playing the run.
Second down 9. As Gerald Thomas got a yard, Brian Shaw back to pass, dumps it over the middle to Donald Stroy. And just as he so often does, catches the pass and then goes backwards and is tackled. I believe there's going to be no gain for Stroy. No gain at all. It'll be third down 9. It was complete, but Stroy tackled right when he caught. Now only 7 points with 3:18 to go before halftime. I formation, double wideouts left side. The give of the middle. Gerald Thomas, big running room across the 30-yard line. And near a first down at about the 31. I think it's going to be about a yard short. Well, now they're motioning first down. So around. I formation by the Builders. Peoples and Stroy split right side. Here's the give over the middle to Gerald Thomas. A near fumble, but I formation by the Mound Builders. Thompson the fullback, Gerald Thomas the tailback. Double tights for the Builders. Greg Peoples split left side. Here's a reverse to Dino Hall. Near tackle at the line of scrimmage, and now a gain of about 2 for Dino out to the 35-yard line. The quarterback has missed 2 field. Third and 7. Donald Stroy goes in motion. Shaw's back to pass. Pretty good protection this time, going over the middle. It's intercepted at the 50-yard line. Intercepted by cornerback Cliff Boatwright, as he had great position on Greg Peoples, and now the entire offense of the Mound, and already they're just about in Greg Chester's field goal range. Believe it or not. Who knows what the extent of his range is. The give to the fullback over the middle on first down. It's Paul Evans, a 190-pounder from Columbus, Kansas. Evans picks up about 3 yards. It'll be second and 7 at the Builder 46-yard line. Really not much deep in Southwestern territory. Second and 7. Jimmy Lee Smith and Paul Evans are running backs. And the give now. Well, it's a fake, and it's intercepted as Ottawa tried to go over the middle. Intercepted. I think it's Barry Williams in the middle of the pack picking the football. Check it, Darryl Zachary on the interception. Darryl Zachary, so Darryl missed one earlier, but got it back where he tackled at the 42-yard line. So give Darryl Zachary his first. Greg Peoples, both split right side. Shaw back to pass on first down, looking over the middle. He's got Donald Stroy. It's incomplete, as I think that time Donald kind of bobbled the football as he fell out of bounds, and the official saying that he didn't get possession of it before he went out of bounds.
We've seen the
3 to play. 42-yard line. Second and 10 Mound Builders. Shaw, the quarterback, still. Give to Lance Davis at a tailback position, and he fumbles the football again, and it should be blown dead, I think. The officials are talking about it. That's what they're saying. At that time, Davis was wrapped up by about 2 guys. No chance of going anywhere as he was not getting out of the grasp of Chuck Knapp and Robert Matherly, and fumbled the football as he was just kind of caught up in the pile. And they're saying that's what it was. He lost 2 on the play, so third and 10.
And missed a lot of track time because of the injury.
Just a reminder, you're listening to Builder Football on 94 FM, Winfield, Kansas. 41 seconds to play, third and 10 at the 42-yard line. Little trap play over the middle, goes for big yardage. Freddie Green bumps it into Ottawa territory inside the 25 down to the 22-yard line. So where did that come from? Freddie Green. Number 26. He called 3 timeouts in the first quarter. 30 seconds left, and the clock is now rolling. 25 seconds left. Back split behind Shaw. Brian back to pass, lost it over the middle, and it's incomplete. That time, a little mix-up in the route as Brian, at this point, as the Mound Builders are going to try to punch it in and go ahead as they have to score here before we go into the locker rooms. 18 seconds to play. Shaw over his center. Back to pass again, lobbing it in the corner for Peoples, and incomplete. Don't quite know why he was back there, but a 25-mile-an-hour wind, maybe more. Fourth down, as I think this one's going to be lofted into the end zone. Shaw back to pass. Pretty good rush. Has to scramble at about the 40-yard line, and now he's going to go down all the way back at midfield. He is just tackled down by Kelvin Hicks and Robert Matherly, and that takes us into the locker room. Ottawa leads it 13-7. No time on the clock. The players aren't going anywhere. Now they are. As time is run out, Ottawa leads at halftime 13.
Field High School in southwestern.
And at their back as Ottawa not only is kicking off, but kicking off into the wind. To start play in the third quarter, Greg Chester will be doing the booting, and he kicks an onside kick. It's fielded nicely at the 47-yard line by James Warren. So soft hand shown by that left defensive tackle, James Warren.
To make sure the ball's kicked over your head.
So first and 10 Mound Builders with the wind at their back at their own 47-yard line. I formation, and right away, Southwestern's going to throw. Brian Shaw going down the sidelines to Greg Peoples. It's picked off at the 19-yard line. Great interception that time. I think the cornerback, Cliff Boatwright, stride for stride with Greg Peoples, had his body completely extended to come up with that interception and then hit that way. And he is down as they're attending to him, really crashed to the ground as he was completely parallel with the ground and made the interception, held on, and now he might have picked up an injury for his efforts.
That time we see Brian Shaw underthrowing with the wind, which is something you don't see very much, and maybe Brian taking a little bit off of it. I believe if he would have thrown it like he would usually throw the ball, that it would have been a completion. Instead, the other way, it's an interception.
So first and 10 Ottawa, they're going against the wind. Our north to south, our left to right. Brad Basil, the quarterback, and a little mix-up at the line of scrimmage, and he's going to be sacked by Doug Myers. Doug Myers getting his hands around the ankles, and Gene Phillipson kind of helping finish him off. But, you know, I was talking to Doug earlier this week, and he was complaining about he didn't have a sack this year. In fact, his picture was in the Ark City paper last week, about 2 feet away from quarterback Ken Monk of Bethany, and didn't the loss of 4 back to the 15-yard line. Second down, 14, I formation. Give to Jimmy Lee Smith over the middle. Follows his blocker for good yardage. Picks up about 7 yards. Third down, 7 at the Ottawa 22-yard line. Odell Thomas in there to linebacker spot now for the Mound Builders. And now we've got some movement on the line. We've got flags everywhere. Jimmy Lee Smith gets the carry. He's going to be dropped by Rodney Miller after a gain of about 4 yards. But again, we do have flags. The Mound Builders jumped off sides. Now it's just a question of were they drawn off sides. 13:32 to play third quarter. The Builders trailing Ottawa 13-7. Both teams 3-2 in the KCAC, and really both teams need third down and 2 as the Ottawa Braves get a free play. That's the first penalty of the second half. 13:26 to play. And the give to the tailback, and he is just racked up and really stuck by you know who, Barry Williams. Anytime you have a big hit, you can usually look for little Barry Williams from his free safety spot. Came into the game, 41 tackles on the season. That's second on the Mound Builders. 5'11", just 170 pounds. Also Odell Thomas and 2 juniors on that defensive starting unit to go along with 3 seniors. Myers, Beard, and Phillips and the seniors. Give to the fullback over the middle. It's fumbled, and a big pileup. I think Odell Thomas came up with the football. I think it was Odell Thomas coming up with the fumble. He did, and on the big stick, knocking it out was Doug picking up the loose ball. So break for the Mound Builders as they pick it up at the 31-yard line. 12:55 to play, third quarter. I formation by the Mound Builders. In motion goes Jonathan Thompson. Here's the give to the tailback. Reginald Cowens over the middle. Haven't heard his name for a while, but I think that's who got the call that time. Or, excuse me, second down, 3 at the Ottawa 24.
I believe Coach Gertz got the offensive line fired up that time. I seen the Builders offensive line blow the Ottawa Braves clear back, 5 yards downfield.
Second and 3. Lerone Smith, the backup tight end, goes in motion. Delayed give to Freddie Green over the middle. Busted inside the 10, inside the 5. Tackled at the 4-yard line. So here's that drive with the wind again. Freddie Green over the middle to the 4. That time he didn't, and now we've got 4 more chances from the 4. I formation, double tights, and a flanker. Woody Gibbs over the middle, battles for about 2 tough yards. He was stacked up the line of scrimmage and kind of fell forward for, I think, a couple yards. In the field, Willie Coleman from Covington, Louisiana. He stays in there. In fact, lining up as a tight end. Power, he's very close. No word from the official. It's going to be short, so it's going to be 3rd down. Then Freddie Green goes to punch in the go-ahead touchdown. 13-7 with 10:58 to play in the 3rd quarter. Mound Builders trailing Ottawa. Again, that's the formation. And the give is to Woody Gibbs again, and this time he goes over. This time he goes over for the touchdown, and Southwestern ties it up at 13.
Surprisingly, Southwestern does it on the ground. And, you know, with the wind, you'd think that maybe Coach Cowdery would like to pass the ball a little bit.
The kick is up and good by Ureta. It makes the score 14-13. Mound Builders back in front.
This broadcast brought to you by Walnut Valley Travel Service in Winfield, the travel agency that can cut your travel cost and time and give you more for your travel dollar.
Defensive line of Ottawa just right off the field marched down for the Woody Gibbs 1-yard touchdown run. In the first half, I can remember watching 5 times. The defensive line of Ottawa had no one on the ground, and that's something you don't like to see. 5 plays in a row, not one defensive lineman was on the ground. This time, as Rusty pointed out, the Ottawa Braves were pushed backwards by Southwestern offensive line. The Builders' starting offensive line averages 237 pounds a man, pretty normal for KCAC standards, maybe a little bit bigger. Their second-team offensive line at 246, so they've got the size and strength. It's just they need the maturity. That time coming around better to give Southwestern a 14-13 lead. Ureta on the kickoff with the wind. A very short kickoff, angling down to about the 12-yard line. It's a return by Ottawa, cuts it upfield, and on the tackle for the Mound Builders was Billy Beard and Doug Myers, teaming up to...
Or not to do it, and he likes to play a lot of freshmen, but late in the season when it gets down to crunch time, he likes to put his more experienced people out there, and it's kind of it's difficult because you're kind of winded.
1st and 10 at the 29. The give to Jimmy Lee Smith over the middle might have got back to the line of scrimmage. Rodney Miller stopping him dead in his tracks. Motivational player, game time, as he likes to get the returnees a victory here at Sonner Stadium this afternoon. 2nd down 10. Brad Basil, the quarterback. Here's a little option play to Jimmy Lee Smith. He's got some room over the left side. Fakes out Terry Stevens. Barry Williams drops him, but there's flags all over the field. Well, that time, Jimmy Lee Smith and Terry Stevens going one-on-one. Terry pretty fast himself, but Jimmy Lee just cut it outside and got right around, and Barry Williams coming up from his free safety spot. But again, we have flags on the field. Smith is about 2 yards short of a 1st down. Jimmy Lee, I guess, a couple years ago, one decided to come here, and the word's been good, send back to Florida, and a couple other players have come out to Kansas City, and now they've got 5 on their squad, so not a bad place to recruit from either, Florida. There's been some pretty good players themselves come to Southwestern. I think of James Key in particular. Steve Peebles is from Florida. So pretty good place to go out and get yourself a college football team. The penalty was illegal procedure, so 2nd down again for Ottawa. They try a little pass on 2nd down. It's 2nd and down 20. The ball is at the 19-yard line. Wind wreaking havoc on the stats here. If you like a big offensive football game, the Builders averaging just under 30 points a game. They have 14 this afternoon. Ottawa, on the other hand, averaging only 12 points a game. On 3rd down, Jimmy Lee Smith breaks it over the middle. He's got some room across the 35-40, 45-50, and Rodney Miller runs him down, tackles him out of bounds. And it's a good thing that Rodney had the angle on him, and now Rodney goes down. And he's kind of holding his stomach. He got right back up after he made the tackle and then went right back down. It looked like on the tackle that he kind of stretched his body out and kind of slammed his midsection to the ground when starting out the season, the senior. But Rodney now is probably the focal point. It's Myers, Odell Thomas, and Bobby Uratia now at linebacker. 1st and 10 Ottawa. The give to the fullback Branford is going to get pretty good yardage as the ball was spotted at the 45. Branford gets just inside the 40. So a gain of about 5.5. It'll be right back in. So evidently just the wind knocked out. Uratia, a usual starter, but this afternoon, Ivory Wilson started at middle linebacker, in fact, calling the defensive plays or relaying the defensive plays. Rodney moved out to an outside linebacker where he is now. Man in motion, I formation for the Braves. Over the middle goes the fullback, and stacked up by Doug Myers again, first man there. And he's just through. Greg Cheserick has kicked a 57-yard field goal for Ottawa. 3rd and 4, I formation. You give to the tailback over the middle. Nothing there, as he is just stuffed by Demetrius Harrell that time. 4th down, Ottawa.
Talking about Myers having a good game, Micah, he's lining up outside of the tight end on offense and running clear around the end and coming around to make the tackle on the other side.
So Randy Breckheisen on the punt, standing at his 50-yard line, punting into a pretty good wind. A wobbly kick, bounces at the 15, and is going to be blown dead at about, I think, the 15 or 16-yard line, where the Mound Builders will take over. 7:32 to play in the 3rd quarter. That's a pretty good defensive series by Southwestern. In the first half, Shaw, the quarterback. I formation for the Mound Builders. Jonathan Thompson in motion. Greg Peoples split right side. Here's kind of the student body left to Woody Gibbs. Cuts it across the 20, across the 25, nearly fumbles, and I think the ball should be blown dead, but Southwestern has the football nonetheless. But I think that scares you when he carries the football.
He never really had control of the ball. He made his first 3 steps, and he had the football up around his shoulder pads.
Yeah, he carries it two-handed out in front of him, kind of. I formation, Freddie Green, the fullback. Woody Gibbs, the tailback. Shaw back to pass. Good protection this time. Lost it over the middle. Donald Stroy at the 40, 45, near midfield, knocked out of bounds. So another first down. The Builders on the move. 7 minutes to play 3rd quarter. Another first down for Southwestern. And I look down on the field. I just got to relay it way out to the middle of the field. 48-yard line. Freddie Green and Gibbs still the running backs. People split right. Here's the give to Freddie Green over the middle. Gets away from one man, kind of, and then tackled by Dave Meyer.
Still legal. He might have been in the end zone, but I see you make you come off and cover all your pads.
Lerone Smith now at the flanker. He goes in motion. Green and Gibbs, the running backs. The give is to Gibbs. Over the middle, busted inside the 40, 35, and down to the 32-yard line. Woody Gibbs, another first down. On the tackle for Ottawa that time, Robert Matherly, but Woody Gibbs. Just last week at Bethany, Lance Davis big carries. Today, it's Woody Gibbs. Well, it takes Coach Cowdery, to the 3rd or 4th quarter every week to find that running back, and you can't blame him. He's got about 10 that are exactly the same this week. I guess it's Woody Gibbs' turn. He's still in there, tailback. The give to Green, the fullback inside the 25, makes the move 20, and he's going to go all the way inside the 10. Touchdown, Freddie Green. And where has the running game been all year? I think Coach Cowdery might have finally found it. Whatever he said to his offensive line, they are just opening humongous holes. Maybe they've got a headset on the sidelines, and they heard us talk.
2 plays that Woody Gibbs has picked up the lot of yardage. Freddie really deserved that touchdown, because the play before, he made a fine block for Woody Gibbs to allow him to go up the middle, and you like to reward a run for it.
21-13, Mound Builders lead. We'll pause 30. You're listening to Builder Football on 94 FM.
Live sports broadcasts are made possible in part by Bogart's, your best food store located at Winfield Plaza.
Win, and you think back to the starting of the 1st quarter, it could be 35-13. Very easy if the Builders could have punched it in a couple times from deep inside Ottawa territory, but our score isn't that. It's 21-13. We still have a good ball game with 5.5 minutes to play 3rd quarter.
Little story about Freddie Green real quick. He's from Tyler, Texas, 5'9", 200-pound freshman, and Rodney Miller from Tyler, Texas came up here and told Coach Cowdery about our little fullback down there at Tyler, and he said, Coach, he's the only fullback that's ever ran over me. One-on-one, he's the only fullback that's ever ran over me.
I'd take anybody to get over Rodney Miller. Freddie's done it, so Coach Cowdery says, well, man, if you're in the car tomorrow down there checking him out. Good thing he did. Freddie this afternoon, 6 carries, 105 yards rushing. And in fact, the first back to go over 100 yards since Weldon Kennedy was hurt, and now Victor Ureta kicks it off. It's returned across the 15, 20, 25, and tackle. Offensive series by the Mound Builders really didn't take much time off the clock, and so the defense didn't have a long time to rest. Myers catching some airtime on the sideline. The pitch to Jimmy Lee Smith. He's forced way back, somehow gets out of trouble at the 10, but now he's going to be wrestled down by Billy Beard at about the 15-yard line, and just a body slam by Beard, and I mean Billy squashed him. Billy Beard just squashed Jimmy Lee Smith, and it surprises me to see him get up.
What surprised me, Mike, was
So the Builders putting it all together here in the third quarter at least. 5:07 to play as we see some clouds moving into the area. Looks like maybe some rain on the way from somewhere building up overhead. It's not going to stop the game, I promise. Second down and long. Jimmy Lee Smith over the middle. Gene Phillipson. And Anthony Salas right there to stop him. Another loss. 21 yards. Third and 21 for Ottawa. So two good defense on the defense, keeping up the tendencies here in the second half where everyone plays well. Third down and long. Here's a broken play, and somehow quarterback Brad Basil gets out of there across the 25. So pretty moderate gain. What looked to be a big play is completely stopped by Terry Stevens after about 10. In the wind, you really can't get enough ahead, I don't think, because the offense doing nothing against the wind. All the offense this afternoon is with the wind. Breckeisen to punt. Good punt considering against the wind, fielded at the 45 by Stevens. Hit at the 45, knocked out of the pack, and now trying to put a move on. He's going to be tackled, but pretty amazing play just to see Stevens come out of that pile. About three of them went down, and it did give the rest of the coverage team time to get down. To stop back to the 31-yard line with 3:27 to play in the third quarter. The Mound Builders have come out here and scored two quick touchdowns to take a 21 goals for Southwestern. 13 lead. Brian Shaw back to pass on first down, is chased out of the pocket, lofting it downfield into a bunch of trouble. Nearly caught by Peoples at the Ottawa 40, but boy, it was a good job just to avoid
back and nearly making the reception.
So second down and 10 Mound Builders at their 31-yard line. I formation. It's Freddie Green and Woody Gibbs in the backfield. The give is to Woody Gibbs, busted over the 40, 45, and he might go all the way into Ottawa territory. Inside the 40, inside the 30, inside the 20, and tackled at the 10-yard line is Woody Gibbs. It was just a foot race, and Cliff Boatwright won, but again, a great block by Freddie Green.
Excellent block, Micah. You know, sometimes
in the second half that we saw in the first half. The Mound Builders dominating here in the second half, and Woody Gibbs still in there. You'd think you need a rest, but no. Freddie Green gets the call from his fullback spot, battles for about 4 yards. The first down marker is
something the coaches might mention to the
8-yard run by Woody Gibbs, and just kind of tackled from behind finally at the 10-yard line. 2nd and 7 Builders to give over the middle to Freddie Green. Picks up about 1.5 yards, it looks like. Boy, the yard's tough now for Freddie Green down there. Got really popped at the 5-yard. Third down and 5 yards to go. Freddie Green, Woody Gibbs, still the running backs. Greg Peoples split right. Jonathan Thompson, the flanker, in motion. Here's the pitch to Woody Gibbs, trying to get around the outside. Cuts it back against the grain, makes a spin, and is just hammered down. And that's going to bring up fourth down for the Mound Builders, and Victor Ureta trots onto the field. 0 of 2 this afternoon. Missed the chip shot and missed one from 35. On the season, 2 of 7. And very uncharacteristic. Victor on the season, extra points, 26 of 26. This one from the left hash mark, so a little bit of an angle for Ureta. The kick is up, and it's good. So Victor Ureta adds a field goal. Lead, 1:03 to play third quarter. We'll pause 30. You're listening to Builder Football on 94 FM.
An optical dispensary for prescription glasses and sports goggles. Beeson's Vision Center in Winfield and Arkansas City. And by Hutto Printing for commercial printing, speed print, or copy service.
5'11", 195 pounds, a freshman from Henrietta, Oklahoma. So Coach Cowdery evidently not happy with Victor's kickoffs, and Kenneth Vance is going to come on and do the kicking. And now we're going to have Daryl Zachary hold the football. Again, that wind very strong out of the south. That's Honor Stadium this afternoon. The Builders in the second half, 13 rushes for 160 yards. Pretty good totals. Pretty good kickoff by Vance all the way down to the 8-yard line. A return by Ottawa across the 25 and then piled up at the 30 and brought down. And on the tackle, looks like Stan. Line of scrimmage for Ottawa. First and 10 is just inside their own 30-yard line. Brad Basil, the senior quarterback, lining his troops up as one receiver, split right, I formation, and a flanker. Kind of a misdirection play, and Jimmy Lee Smith goes around left side. He's tripped up by Gerald Peters. Good hands that time by Peters. He just third leading rusher in the KCAC, averaging just 82 yards a game. In fact, no one in the conference averages 100. Last year, there was 4 runners over 120, including Weldon Kennedy. Jimmy Lee Smith now on second down, strung way out along the right side. Bali Williams and Doug Myers along with it. It's going to bring up third down and about 12. And now Southwestern calls a timeout with 9 seconds to play. And if they can hold him on this third down play, they could... At the Ottawa 27-yard line. Jimmy Lee Smith, the tailback, by the way, minus 15 yards on his last 4 carries. Give to the fullback over the middle on third down. Doug Myers right there to stick hit, or about a 20-yard punt. A pretty decent punt against the wind this afternoon. The entire kick return team over talking with defensive line coach Matt Welch. The Builders 17 third-quarter points to kind of get a little breathing room. 161 yards 2 weeks ago. They were averaging 40 points as a team, so this might be what the offense needs to kind of get themselves going. Breckeisen, pretty good snap, had to hurry the punt. It's a short punt bouncing at the 40-yard line, or near the 40-yard line, and finally blown dead at 43. We'll pause 30 seconds. You're listening to Builder Football on 94 FM. All right, tough day to pass on. Swirling winds and very strong. And it'd be hard for John Elway to come out here and pass. On first down, Woody Gibbs over the middle. Big yardage again inside the 35 near another first down. On the tackle, Dave Meyer along with 31-yard line. Now, I'll tell you one thing I've noticed, Rusty, is Ottawa offensive linemen, a number of wide receivers, and now maybe the fatigue factor starting to play here this afternoon. Woody Gibbs on first down breaks it inside the 30 for about 3 yards down to the 28-yard line. Good hit.
You know, they're pretty heavy. And as far as fatigue factor, I mean, it's going to wear on them a little bit faster. 14
minutes to play third quarter, second down 7. As Gibbs got 3 that time. Short side of the field, it's Gibbs cutting it back inside the 20 and down near the 15. Boy, that time Woody Gibbs, it looked like he had down to the 15-yard line. So Freddie Green doing the blocking for Woody Gibbs at fullback. The Gibbs on a misdirection is to Gibbs. He goes over the middle straight ahead for about 4 yards.
The offensive line surge that just pushed him back because Woody had no room to run, actually, but just behind his lineman.
The offensive line really blowing out the defensive line of Ottawa now. Here's the give to Gibbs again, kind of just crashes over the middle inside the 10. I think he might have got down to about the 8-yard line when they leave here. 12:53 to play in the ball game. The Builders this afternoon, 37 of them have been scored with the win. Third down and a long 3. Jonathan Thompson, the flanker, in motion. I formation. The pitch to Woody Gibbs again. Cuts it inside the 10, inside the 5, down to the 3-yard line. It's a first down, so first and goal Builders. It's been the Woody Gibbs show on this drive.
I'll tell you, Woody's, sometimes you got to look for your blocker behind them and not follow them.
So first and goal at the 3-yard line. Power I, double tights, Woody Gibbs. Who else? And it's a touchdown. Woody Gibbs just was not to be denied that time as he just crashed in the line of scrimmage, and you got to love the way he keeps his feet going as he hit that line, and it's just, I don't think that turns it back to the good for the Mound Builders as they really needed to come out and have an explosive half. Already 24 points in the fourth quarter.
And when I'm looking down there, I'm trying to find a name here.
Sure is. Like my sister snapping. Oh, she's going to be mad at me for that. 150. It's 31-13. Mound Builders dominating. We'll pause 30 seconds. You're listening to Builders.
KS by the 94 FM Sports Boosters Club, including Ken's Pizza, located on East 9th in Winfield. For the best.
And now, Victor Ureta having to kick off from the 35-yard line because of that penalty on the extra point. You want some numbers for running backs? Here they are. Woody Gibbs, 15 carries, 142 yards, a couple of scores. Freddie Green, 8 carries, 110 yards. Pretty good day, I think, for a fullback and a tailback. 12:03 to play, 3 touchdowns rushing between them. Victor Ureta on the kickoff. It's kind of a low, squibbing kick fielded at the 38-yard line. That's where Ottawa will start things with fence working like this, and it's good to see it again. 12:01 to play. Give to the tailback over the middle, and just fighting for what little yardage he could get. Give him credit. That time, Jimmy Lee Smith over the right side was really stacked up by Rodney Miller. Also helping out on the tackle, Billy Beard and Odell Todd. 7 minutes to play. I'm not going to say it's in the bag because we've seen a lot of offense going this way. Jimmy Lee Smith over the middle fights for 2 yards on the tackle. Maybe their quarterback not that good a passer because the Builders giving up 200 yards a game through the air and just 100 rushing, and they've kept it on the ground all afternoon. On 3rd down, Jimmy Lee Smith, there's a flag down. Ivory Wilson, I think it's going to be an illegal procedure, and it is, because he has virtually been all but shut down here in the second half. Came in averaging 82.5 yards a game. One guy we haven't seen this afternoon, and in fact started the game. Matt Wendell, a freshman, has started the last 2 games and averaged 66 yards a game. And we haven't called his name once this afternoon. I formation. And back to passes. Basil, big rush by Phillipson, and he's going to get the sack all the way back to the 30-yard line. Gene Phillipson, sack number 9 for Gene Phillipson. That by far leads the Mound Builders. Sack, looks like Robert Coleman, a backup quarterback, warming up on the sideline. So that could be a day for Brian Shaw as the Builders. Pretty big lead here as time winding out. Good punt by Breckeisen, fielded at the 25 by Terry Stevens and returned about 7 yards out to the 32. First and 10 Builders at the 32-yard line. J.T. Thompson in motion to give to Freddie Green, the fullback, for about 3 yards to the 35. Are going to drop under 500 overall this year. Be up and coming in the next few years. Ottawa, again, at Southwestern. Sterling is at Bethany, so there's a mismatch. Woody Gibbs on 2nd down. Gets about 4 yards out to the 39-yard in what should be a cakewalk for the Bulldogs. An injured player down for the Ottawa Braves.
I'll tell you, Southwestern may keep their first-string offensive group in there because next week.
8:39 to play in the ball game. Builders lead at 31-13. On 3rd down and short, Woody Gibbs trying to sweep left side, and he's going to be dropped for a loss and a penalty flag. Call it off because we've got a face mask. It's just going to depend on if it's intentional or unintentional. You walk it off from the line of scrimmage, and it's going to be unintentional, but it gives Southwestern a first down on penalty. So move the ball out to the 44-yard line, give the Bill Southwestern trail at 13-7, but not to be in the second half. On 1st down, over the middle goes the fullback Freddie Green for about 4 yards out to the 48. T. Thompson has had a big week, and now Woody Gibbs gets his turn, and he by far the biggest week. Lerone Smith, the tight end, goes in motion. There's the give to Gibbs, bounces off a couple of tacklers and manages to get about 2 yards out of nothing, maybe even 3 into Ottawa territory at the 49-yard line. Good block that time. It looked like picked up. 3rd and 4 at the 49 of Ottawa. High formation. Donald Stroy split left, Brian Shaw, and here's the flanker reverse to Jonathan Thompson. Has some room inside the 50, runs over a couple guys to the 45, and with that mismatch there, it's about 220 pounds against 190 for Ottawa, and you can... Godfrey's going to pick up his 50th win. As the coach of the Mound Builders, Freddie Green over the middle, breaks the tackle inside the 35, down near the 30-yard line, and what a run by Freddie. 6:11 to play. Another first down Mound Builders. Back split behind Shaw. Jonathan Thompson in motion. Here's the give to Freddie Green. Kept it back inside the 30. Picks up about 4 yards. Slips down on the tackle. Needed to go to the air. Southwestern, 50 carries for 303 yards on the ground. That's a lot. Second down 6 from the 28. Shaw back to pass, looking over the middle. It's complete to Donald Story at the 15 and a miraculous catch. It's a first down, an acrobatic catch by Stroy. Go down and check his another first down for the Mound Builders. They just completely dominate here in the second half.
We had one that came out and wouldn't play very well, and second half they switch and come out and play real well.
Here's the give to the fullback, Jonathan Thompson, breaking over the middle near another first down. It's going to be about a yard short, so give Thompson 9 more yards on the... They have just dominated the second half, outscoring Ottawa 24-0 up till now. Into the corner of the end zone to Greg Peoples, touchdown from Brian Shaw. Brian Shaw hits Greg Peoples, touchdown number 16.
Get him pretty well known around the conference, and they double covered him last year, and surprisingly Ottawa, that was the first time I believe I've seen Greg be single covered and caught a touchdown.
You're listening to Builder Football on 94 FM.
Maintenance Center at Strother Field, continuing to build for the future security of the industry and this community. General Electric and Weber Land Company, your friends in the real estate business.
7 now, 38-13. As they just score on an 8-yard touchdown pass. Brian Shaw to Greg Peoples. Here's the kickoff, fielded at the 30. Again, remember, kicking defensive back is in there as well, as is Keith Thomas. Also out there, Chris Ford, a backup defensive tackle. 1st and 10 Ottawa at their 40-yard line. Give to the fullback is Aaron Brantford. Over the middle, goes for about 3 yards. Probably going to be a step down. On 2nd down and 7, back to passes. Basil overthrown side. And now we've got flags all over the place, as I think it was too much time by Ottawa. Check it, illegal procedure. It's going to knock him back 5 yards. It's going to be procedure. 3rd down, 13, I'm sorry. And Rusty just coming back, and we've got some good news for Builder fans. As you remember, last week, Coach Al Holderman in the hospital. Well, guess what? This week, Coach Al is back in the defensive booth not 1 week later, calling defensive plays for the Mound Builders. It has helped here. They lead at 38-13. Give to the tailback, right side. Little bit of room that time. Goes a new player.
Homecoming game, and living in Manhattan the last 4 years, it sure is refreshing. Sure is refreshing to see a purple team being able to move the ball up and down the field.
Good point. Good point. We'll have to hope all our listeners up in Manhattan don't have their radios turned on. So his record speaks for itself. A very young team this year. Breckeisen punting with the win. Gets one away. Shane Green at the 25 runs backwards, and he's going to be tackled at about the 24-yard line. So good punt by Breckeisen. A lot of hang time. Again, punting with the win. Very is going to be calling this thing. Well, it's not. It's Edmund Hall is doing the signal calling. Edmund, a part-time starter last year. Little misdirection play. Robert Coleman on the carry. A gain of 3 across the 25 out to the 27-yard through the air. So the Mound Builders trying to go over. So really no surprise there as they give up 334 yards. Southwestern's going to make them just a little bit worse. Here's a pitch to Shane Green. Cuts it upfield across the 30. And that's about it. It's going to be 3rd down. Great job. It looks like Burden will be going back to the playoffs this year. 2:01 to play. Give over the middle to the first man through. Freddie Green, 12 carries, 134 yards. Woody Gibbs, 17 carries, 149 yards. Brian Shaw, 7 of 16 for 8 double tights. Edmund Hall, the quarterback, just dives it up over his center, and he's got more than enough for the first down. So Coach Charlie Cowdery now is going to be able to run the clock out. Minute 46. The clock stops to Shane Green, the tailback. Reginald Callens, the fullback. Another misdirection play and thrown for a loss that time. About 16. For the Mound Builders, Dino Hall comes over to talk with Charlie Cowdery while Ottawa calls timeout. We will too. Which you really have to assume It'll be Southwestern trying to move into a tie for second place. The Builders will be alone in third place after today if Bethel loses. Here's the quarterback run around the outside by Dino Hall, tackled after a gain of about 1 on second down at the 31. This is going to bring up third down with 1:08 to go in the ball game. And now again, Ottawa calls timeout. So Ottawa will be I formation, man in motion for the Mound Builders. Dino Hall, the quarterback on third down. Shane Green gets the call, trying to find some room on the left side, breaks it. Now he's going to be dropped for about a 5-yard loss, and I think there's a fumble on the play, and Ottawa was going to pick up the loose ball. A homecoming victory for the Mound Builders. You have to thinking about
that K-State did kick a long field goal.
Yeah, 61 yards is what the unofficial report. Here's a pass on first down, complete at the 20 by Ottawa for a gain of about 6 yards. It's going to be 2nd and 4. Ottawa calls their final timeout with 50 seconds. We'll pause 60 seconds. You're listening to Builders by the Mound Builders. Came in averaging just under 30 a game. They're going to help that out with this effort this afternoon. Good defensive effort, good offensive effort by the Mound Builders, and that's what you need for the W's. Back to pass is Basil. On second down, he's going for the end zone. We've got a flag in the end zone. An Ottawa Brave on the ground. I think it's going to be pass interference. As that time in the end zone was Kirk Snyder. Snyder, someone that hasn't seen any time this afternoon. Last year was a starter. It is.
You know, Mike, you got to wonder if maybe the Oakland Raiders might for over 400 yards.
On first down, it's Jimmy Lee Smith on a 1-yard line. After the penalty, Smith carries it down to the 6. He's an I formation, but double wideouts way on the right side to draw a couple defenders out of the picture. It doesn't work as Matt Wendell gets the pitch, tries some room on the short side. Nothing there. Keith Thomas, along with Antonio Holmes and Robert Sullivan, 3.6 yards a carry, but not heard of until the end of the afternoon today. Jimmy Lee Smith doing most of the groundwork for the Braves. On 3rd and goal, it's Basil back to pass, and he is just hammered. All the way back at the 12-yard line was help. That time on the sack, Antoine Mann. 15 seconds to go. Greg Chester comes on with a hurricane at his back to attempt the field goal. He's already got 2 this afternoon. This one's going to be from 30 yards. A chip shot for Chester. He's already hit one from 57. The kick is up, and it's perfect. 38-16 as time runs out. The Mound Builders defeat Ottawa.
Together, building together. That's Winfield and the Gott Corporation. Gott is proud to be a sponsor of local sports. They encourage you to attend the local games and, when possible, those that are out of town. The young people need our support. After all, they're the ones who will build on what we have done, and they're the ones upon whom the